everyone, my name is Kendra Truitt, and this is my audit on SA High School. It is a pseudonym, so I will be using SA or SAHS throughout this presentation to talk about my particular high school. The demographics for SAHS is we teach grade levels 9 through 12th grade. We do have a few 8th graders that come over for ROTC or higher level mathematics classes, but we don't typically consider them a part of our student enrollment because they don't take the assessments, the PSAT or SAT, or some of our summative assessments that we do from year to year. Our student demographics for 23-24 is white 73%. This white also includes Europeans as well, so it's a little bit different of a background than what you consider white Americans. A Hispanic population of 18%, and this also includes Latinos as well as Spaniards. Black African American 3%, multi-race is 3%, Hawaiian other Pacific Islander as 1%, Asian 1%, and unknown at 1%. So this also includes students who just did not want to answer. We also have a very high ELL population of 48% of the student population, and we will be talking about this more in depth as we go through this presentation. Our SAHS glows is we do have a very diverse community. SAHS is home to over 30 different nations, and their students bring a unique perspective to the school building every day. These 30 nations are NATO nations, so all across Europe, and then the United States and Canada. And these students are also military connected, so they are not just quote unquote, the kids that grew up down the street and have known each other their whole lives. They're students that have been placed here not by choice. So it's a very different perspective on the world and how they came to be at the school. Number 2, our engagement within extracurricular activities. Students are actively engaged in clubs and sports teams, and the faculty and community members are there to support them. So we have about 5 to 6 different clubs, including D&D, sword fighting, and Model United Nations, and a variety of sports teams ranging from American football, volleyball for boys and girls, basketball for boys and girls, wrestling, to track, to softball, baseball, and soccer. So we have a variety of different activities that students can participate in. And our last glow is our assessment data. Is with SAHS's high ELL population, our test scores show that they're increasing from year to year in PSAT scores. The majority of our students at this school are not English speakers as their native language. So it is a very unique population of students, and they work really hard to come be at a school that this might be their first opportunity being at an English-only building. And so it's a very different way of looking at our curriculum, but also when it comes to our assessment data, we see that the ELL population jumps leaps and bounds from year to year, which just shows that our students are wonderful and fantastic, and they are doing all of the things above and beyond of what anybody could ever ask of high schoolers. So our diverse community. This comes, as we talked about, comes from over 30 different NATO nations. When I'm looking at the different sources that, to talk about these, I went and talked to our, one of our school counselors. And one of the biggest things that they, like to emphasize with me was that each student is unique in their backgrounds, and their areas of needs are very different than just moving across the United States, because they're moving from different non-English speaking nations that have a very different curriculum set up. And so the counselors do a very good job of figuring out what the student needs and the deficits that they might have to help us out and support them the way that they need to be supported. Another source that I looked into was our focus group 2. This focus group was represented by 5 different nations, and their world population, or their view of the world, and their education was vast, ranging from being at this is being their only English-speaking school that they've ever attended, to they've grown up in the American system all the way through. Some have never left their home country until now, versus some of our American students, this is the 5th or 6th placement outside of the United States. So it's a very different perspective on how to make friends, and how quickly students find their home group within the school very fast in comparison to other schools, because they just don't have time. And they all notice that of when a new student gets enrolled, within 2 or 3 days, they already have a lunch group of friends. They know where to sit. They know where to go, because somebody has taken under their wing, because that's what's expected of them. Because somebody did that for them when they showed up brand new to the school too. And then for my own personal knowledge, when I first started teaching at SAHS, I was blown away within the first 10 minutes of my lesson, because I heard 5 to 10 different languages being spoken that were not English. And it was phenomenal to see the sense of community and the drive that the students have to help each other understand what is going on when it's not something that they're comfortable with. And these students are put through the ringer day in and day out to not only learn a new language, but to also learn a subject area that might not be their cup of tea. And so it's a very interesting perspective and a different community that most other schools don't get to experience or even enjoy. Our next glow is engagement and extracurricular activities. One of my sources was from a coach. This particular coach now this year coached 3 different sports between American football, wrestling, and then track and field. And they were able to see over 200 different students participate in physical activity, and could drastically see how when they were competing and being a part of a team, the cooperation that they had amongst their team members and accountability that they had for their teammates and themselves skyrocketed. When I was talking with the assistant principal, this also showed up that when students didn't know if a club could be sponsored, that they had a process for it to become a club, or sport, or whatever the students might need or their interests lie. There was a process for them to find their community and to get more involved with the school. And then from my own personal knowledge, I know that the students who participate in these clubs and extracurriculars are held to a higher academic standard, and could be potentially let go from their team if their grades slip too far. So in other words, most of the time when students have participated in extracurriculars, they end up passing their classes, and we egg students on to participate in these extracurriculars because we do see a positive correlation between pass rates and team participation in sports and clubs. Alrighty, our last glow is actually our assessment data. Now, when I was talking with an MLP teacher, English as a second language makes up more than half of our student population, where 48% of our student population utilizes ELL services or have recently exited the program. Now, some of the cool languages that are spoken are Azerbaijani, Albanian, Bulgarian, Croatian, Czech, French, German, Greek, Hungarian, Italian, Japanese, Kazakhstan, Lithuanian, Macedonian, Norwegian, Polish, Romanian, Slavic, Slovenian, Spanish, and Turkish. And those are just some of them, not all of them. When it came time for me talking with the school counselor, we figured out that 63% of our student population are international students, with only 37% being American students. A lot of our students from the various backgrounds that they come from have different deficits that they're coming in with, whether it is their language proficiency or the gaps in the knowledge that they might have from different subject areas, because how the American curriculum set up and how their home nation system is set up are two very different systems, and we have to kind of bridge that gap. So when looking at the assessment data, it shows that what we are doing is working. It might not get us 100% pass rate, but it does show that we are doing something. Now our last assessment piece, or data piece or source piece, is actually our PSAT data from 2022, 23, 24, and 2025. Now this is just a quick little breakdown of what I was able to pull from the data. Now, as you can kind of see, the ELL subgroup is lower than the general population in both categories. But as you can see, from 2023 to 2024, there was a drastic growth between math and ELA. And even in ELA from 2024 to 2025, there was also a huge jump in growth there. In comparison. Now, even in math, there was a slight dip in the math percentage, but even still they held it, which is also a huge milestone for a lot of these students. So knowing that and taking a proctored SAT test in an English language that most of these students, this might be their first time ever seeing English in an assessment form of such a high stakes, is incredible to see. And it just shows that the interventions and the system that we have in place throughout our school is working, and that the students are putting in the time and effort to understand and to push themselves further and further each and every year.